For the first time in 3 seasons, I wasn't here last week. I was itching to get back. I'm here hosting the Week 7 postgame show with Connor, Ryan, Stuckey, and Greg. We are presented this evening by Body by Ryan Fitness. Start your nutrition coaching today. Do good, be good, feel good. Email bodybyryan@yahoo.com. You can actually click the link below this YouTube video. We got the score right here. We might as well just stick with it. To me, it was the game of the night. Goon Squad, Brotherhood reeling from that loss last week, their first ever. Kind of a nail-biter against Goon Squad. I don't think we really expected it to be as close as it was. Able to pull it out 69-66, but kind of like came down to the last possession. It was pretty surprising.
And Goon Squad jumped out to a 13-3 lead to start. I personally think they should be moving up the rankings, even though they lost. They looked really good. They played some really solid defense. The press got to be a little too much for them. Brotherhood got a lot of stops in the midcourt on that press, but they really weren't playing great defense once Goon Squad was able to get it across midcourt and set up an offense. Matt Marconi was automatic in the paint, so I think they should move up, but good for Brotherhood to get back in the win column against a tough team, although I felt like it seemed like a little bit more somber of a Brotherhood team tonight, like dealing with that first loss.
Absolutely. And I guess we might as well bounce from one good game and let's just go to the bottom of the barrel. Let's get some of these less exciting games out of the way. We'll start with Sometimes Why and Flight Club. A favorable matchup for Sometimes Why. We thought maybe this was the week that they could get a W, but those high schoolers, they can ball. Flight Club comes out on top 74-58.
I mean, their crowd. They got the best crowd in the league. They got a great shooter in Jacob Miller who just continues to really impress me. They're a young team, and the way he handles the ball, controls the offense. A lot of problems with some of these teams these leagues. They turn the ball over too much, and he's really impressed me these few weeks. Same with Alex Demise, 21-9. He handled the ball. And for Sometimes Why, it's just kind of a sad occasion. You kind of want them to get their first win. John Lutters is good, but it just came down to heart, I think, in the end. And Flight Club has the fans. They have a sense of freshness because out of high school, it seems like they just wanted the win more than Sometimes Why.
Yeah, so like we talked about, they have a great cheering section. The other team that always seems to bring fans to the building here at InSports is Flint Tropics. Flint came out tonight against the Redemption. We're able to pull out a victory, so that's, I believe, 2 in a row now for Redemption that they've lost. 75-64 in favor of Flint Tropics. What do you think about that one?
Well, with Redemption, they played a really good game despite losing. They actually shot 65% from the field as a team, so they didn't really miss that many shots. They were efficient with their offensive possessions. But what it really just came down to is Redemption just didn't have as much weapons offensively as the Flint Tropics have. They have Mike Pizzuto and Mike Duran, who were both not here last week. They made their reappearance this week. Pizzuto had 19, Duran had 16, both led the team. So whenever they got 2 key weapons like that they can really exploit the other defense, that's how they've gotten wins so far this season.
Absolutely. Moving right along, I guess we'll just get it out of the way so I don't have to worry about it. Let's talk Stranger Danger. Of course, we all know last season, our big playoff upset against the Temptations. We come back this year, we're playing Central Chocolate, same team, different name. Not the same result for my boys as last season, but I thought it was a pretty good performance from my team. And I got to say, we lost by 4, final score of 66-70. The Santarellis can play. And as good as Carmine is, we talk about it a lot, I think Nick really killed us today. He was lights out from 3. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. He hit some huge threes. He missed a couple free throws that almost cost them. I was starting to have flashbacks to that Week 1 game against the Brotherhood when Stranger Danger was getting some key turnovers there at the end. But then Carmine hit his free throws, a little bit of redemption from the missed ones he had in Week 1, which hurt him in that collapse against the Brotherhood. But Stranger Danger, overall, a good effort. I still think they're trending in the right direction. It's been a lot quieter on their bench, although you can see some of the old habits surfacing every now and then. That technical foul on, I believe it was Zachary Graham at the end of the third quarter, you take that away, they get the ball towards the end of the game. It's a one-possession game, and anything can happen then. But still a much better effort.
And speaking of that, their same mistakes, right? We talk about them closing out games every week, right? We talk about them being right there, right on the numbers, right? They are so close to a win, and then just as they're about to make that run to get the W, something happens to the point where they're looking at each other and arguing with each other. And whenever you're arguing with each other on the floor, the same team, and you're arguing with your teammates, it's never a good look. So closing out the game goes back to Stranger Danger. Stranger Danger, watch these clips. close out games.
One team that definitely can close out games, our returning champions, the Monstars. They took care of business tonight against Sportslook 109-84. I didn't get to see much of the game, but 109 against Sportslook's a pretty good team, and they play good defense. I think the scoring is pretty impressive. I think those Langston brothers are just an absolute force. I don't know if there's anyone in this league who can guard them.
Yeah, and we were all talking about Greg last week. Greg was the talk of the show, but this week he wasn't even the best Langston on the court. It was Eric who had one more point. He had 22 opposed to Greg's 21. But Eric went 9 for 9 from the field, 100% from the field, didn't miss a basket. So how do you really commit so much pressure all over the court? What I'm really seeing with this Monstars team, they're so much deeper now. They got Mike Cody showed up today and opened up everybody's eyes. You already got Brett. You already have Ty, who's an all-star off the bench.
Right.
Such a deep team. And like you said, how can you stop the Langston brothers and then also have to worry about Reggie at the same time? You know what I mean? This is just such a brutal team, the way they've developed over the season. So I'm really looking at them as my unofficial favorite to win the entire league this year.
Okay, so from one powerhouse to the other, we had a new team atop of our power rankings for the first time all season with Brotherhood's first loss. No Limit jumps up to that one spot. No Limit took care of business tonight against Lob 203, 93-77. Was it closer than the score indicates?
I think you definitely say a little closer than the score indicates, because at the end of the first quarter it was tied 18, right? Lob 203 did exactly what they needed to do, kind of, sort of, in that first half to stay alive in that game, right? But No Limit, Jalen Graham, he had 28 points. Howie Miller looked like he shot so many threes that a kid looked at him on the other team and goes, "What'd you eat this morning?" And in my head I go, this is what this kid eats every week. He scored 30 points and he had 5 rebounds and he shot lights out. So whenever you can do that, you're going to run away with a game in the second half, right? And when a Lob 203 team like this is only one man dominant, Eric Singleton, he had 34 points, 5 rebounds. But when he's the only player that wants to play the same pace game as No Limit, and he's the only one that wants to push the ball, and he's the only one that wants to go get contact, it's kind of hard to win games when you're playing 4 against 1. And then with No Limit's bench being so deep, you're playing 8 against 1, 9 against 1. So until Lob 203 can get another score, they won't win a lot of games in this league against elite teams.
So another team, maybe not in the top tier, but right there below in that next level, the Throne, a team that's trending upward, has only had 1 loss, I believe, on the season. Maybe not the toughest schedule, but again, they took care of business tonight against Friday Time. And we always talk about, we want to see teams that play weaker teams to really put them away. You don't want to beat a bad team by 10. You want to put your foot on their throat. You want to beat them by 30. And they did that tonight. They won 77-43 against Friday Time, who we know has always been the bottom of the barrel. But regardless, what do we think about the performance?
The score indicates they took care of business, but they really started off sloppy. And their shooting was sloppy all game. The Throne were 3 of 23 from 3 today, which is not very good. They had a lot of sloppy turnovers at the beginning, and they're just lucky that Friday Time shot even worse than they did. I really feel like if they played any other team besides Friday Time, this would be a whole different mood around the Throne right now. If they played one of those mid-tier teams, they could have easily gotten upset today. Obviously not having Joe Bocciello hurts, but it was a sloppy game. I think they might have came out already looking ahead to the next week, but to credit them, they kind of woke themselves up and then really pulled away at the end.
Okay, so let's just go with the theme of sloppy. Let's just go right along. Bad Boys double dribblers, 90-62 in the favor of the Bad Boys. There's not really much to say about that game, but I'll leave it to you guys.
Destin Simmons.
Yeah, that's basically it. I get it right on the head. But not just Destin Simmons, also Trey Blake had a great game. I think Trey Blake...
He missed 1 3?
Yeah, I think he only missed 1 3. He had 28 points on 10 of 11 shooting, so there was that one miss. Just a great game, and they already have Jalen Eggleston, who, such an unselfish point guard. He can finish the game with 11 points and still have a great impact on his team with his ball distribution and all that. So I think they've just gotten so much better throughout the season.
And before we get to my favorite part of the night, which I will get to, we have one more game to get to, and that's STP versus the Untouchables. STP rolling, another win, 68-50. Again, maybe not a tough matchup so much, but a team that's on the fringe that's playing well.
They remind me of last year, like a firm type of team where the schedule isn't that great, but they're rolling along. And tonight really impressed me because I expected more from the Untouchables. I think they have the talent, especially with Chris Rosario, but 4 players in double figures, 36 rebounds as a team. they play hard D. They give it all. And Mike Slattery has just become a leader for this team. And I really think that's what you need in this league. You need someone who can kind of lead the troops, just like we have with Carmine or with Mike Davis and Russell Payton. And I'm really interested to see how this STP team plays when they play better competition.
And like I just teased, my favorite part of the night is when we get to talk about when Run TMC loses. Obviously, no one really was expecting, they're playing a team that just knocked off the Brotherhood in Team Moose. And to be fair, it was a pretty close game. Run TMC falls just short 72-80, but they still lost. So all is right in the universe.
They lost that game, but the funny thing is, they won as far as doing the little things right? They only had their one big mistake or their one big mishap came when John Rulin got that technical foul, right? As soon as that technical foul came, the momentum shifted. You could feel it on the court. The Run TMC started looking at each other who's going to guard Trevor Chavez down in the post. You know what I mean? Like, they started arguing with the refs, going back and forth with the referees. And that's never a good sign, right? Because then that takes you right out of the game. Now, to give some credit to Team Moose, they did their new face. Though I'm questioning his height a little bit, but their new face, right? He shot 91% from the floor. Trevor Chavez shot 91% from the floor, 21 points. He had a solid game. And Team Moose also had 4 guys with 15 points or better, right? Whenever you can get a starting unit to all score double figures, it's hard to beat that team. So Run TMC kind of hurt my feelings tonight because that game was right there for the taking. And this is going to be what's going to separate them from finals, first round loss, is how they're able to keep their composure throughout games when they're being banged harder, they're not getting the calls they want. That's going to be the difference between first round loss, finals win.
So piggybacking off of that, I'm going to go off script a little bit here. I'm going to throw you guys, just a little curveball. In one sentence, tell me who you think's going to win it all and why. Let's start with Greg.
I think No Limit will win it all. And the reason I think is because I just think they have motivation. That's it.
Okay.
Team Moose. I'm going Team Moose because I started the boat thing, so I guess Trevor Chavez is driving the boat right now, so I'm going Team Moose.
Just use one of the most overly used sentences in sports: defense wins championships. So that's probably why I would go Team Moose right now.
I'm going with depth on this one, and the recent additions on depth to the Monstars are the team that I'm picking to win the championship this year.
I just want you to know that everyone on the Brotherhood hates you now.
That's fact.
So just know that next week when you come here, they're going to be furious. But that's okay. We're allowed to have a little bit of parity
if
here.
the win was a little more convincing.
It's more fun.
Yeah, I
when
mean, if they come out today and they blow the doors off this team, which they should have, then we may be saying Brotherhood could get a win.
Next week, they play No Limit. They can prove a lot.
Yeah.
Next week is their proving ground.
Yes.
Proving ground for them.
So don't miss that one. That's going to be, I would assume that's going to be game of the week. Don't count me on that, but my assumption is that No Limit Brotherhood's going to be the game of the week. As always, you can follow us on Twitter, Snapchat at Legacy_Leagues, Instagram as well. For Greg, Stuckey, Ryan, and Connor, I'm Tyler, and we will see you next week.